Hey, okay, so let me catch you guys up and tell you what's the plan, what's happened, what's going on. Let's have a chat, and I'll catch you guys up. We didn't get anything on the 40-mile hunt, which was kind of a bummer. All right, okay, not a huge deal. I knew that I had other hunts that I could do. Um, It was really good to get all that camping and hiking in. I think the longest day I had, miles wise, was like 18 miles in a single day, which was a lot of hiking. We beat the hell out of the camping game. We had a good time. It got dark one night and we even played cards and everything. Super fun. I've just spent the last 2 days traveling to get to this spot. And don't worry, I'm going to tell you where I am if you haven't already guessed. If you're a fan, or at least if you know what I do just about every October for the last 2 years. So I spent the last 2 days driving. I drove to Fairbanks yesterday, and today I've driven up into the Arctic. Now, it was kind of a bumpy ride, both figuratively and literally, because the James Dalton Highway is kind of more of a dirt road with little patches here and there of actually being paved. Now, I had some fun getting here as far as that went. It was raining, so the clay, kind of like muddy dirt road that they make the highway out of, was extremely slippery. In places where I was like, oh good, if it was 15 degrees, or even 10 degrees colder, the ground would just be frozen here and it would actually be easier to drive over. I'm almost more familiar with driving on the snow and ice than I am on the slick clay type mud stuff, and it would climb an altitude, and it would cool off, and then it would be this nice icy slushy sort of muddy stuff, and it was terrible. It's something to keep in mind. I got a flat tire, which was like, I was like, oh man, okay, I can limp along. I'll throw some air in there. I completely drained one of the batteries that I have for my little Ryobi air pump. It was like 4 amp hours just gone, just like that, trying to put some air in. I think I stopped 3 times, and I was like, okay, that's enough. I mean, it just wouldn't even hold air pressure for even a few minutes. I got down and I could hear it leaking out, and I was like, okay, I just need to break down and change the tire, and then we'll go from there. Changed the tire, and I drove the rest of the way into Coldfoot, and I was like, oh geez, like, this is a long shot, but do you have somebody with the tire repair shop? And they were like, of course we do. Oh, well, that's great, because I'm gonna need it. Got a burger while they were fixing the tire. The guy basically dropped everything that he was doing to go and help with getting the patch kit out and repairing the tire and everything. He replaced it, put the little donut temporary guy back underneath the truck, all that kind of good stuff for me, all while I was eating my burger and everything else. And he, like, as long as it took for me to get gas, he had dropped what he was doing and come right over to the shop, which was awesome. I was worried because I was like, man, all this time that I'm losing pumping air into this thing and sliding around on the mud, and the road, and, getting a flat tire and having to change it and then get it repaired, all this other stuff. Like, am I going to make it in time to get over to my spot up in the Arctic? Now, it's important to know that I don't like to set up camp in the dark. It's not that I'm scared of the dark. I'm very comfortable out here in the dark, but I know how dangerous the dark can be out here as well. I know how easy it is to get lost out here. I know how easy it is to get turned around or not be able to see, and then you put any snow or anything on top of it, and it doesn't matter how good your night vision is. In a blizzard condition, you're not going to be able to find your way out of there. I had some trouble. Now, setting up camp is really different than hiking out after a hunt. But I don't like to do it anyway. I don't like to set up camp in the dark where I'm like, hey, where did I put that hammer? You know, oh, you know, where's that bag? You know, oh no, I dropped that thing that I need, and so on and so forth. It's difficult, and I don't like doing it. I like to set up in the light. I like to see what I'm looking at. I like to get a solid idea of, you know, what the ground looks like and what the terrain looks like, and, you know, see if there's a bear den right there that I wouldn't be able to see otherwise in the dark. So I got here. I'm where I want to be for now. I have a lot of hiking to do in the next couple of days. I got my camp set up. This is the base camp. I know, it's so fancy, right? Little space here that they'll call, oh geez, now I'm drawing a blank on what it's called. Vestibule. Okay, so this area here is basically for like putting your boots or whatever else so you don't wear it inside, you know, that sort of thing. I got my bags kind of situated a bit, and I'm going to go over this just really quickly, just so that, you know, if you do decide that you're going to come up and you're going to do whatever trips and so forth, you kind of have an idea. This is my new bag, thanks Teton, that I got, and this is what I'm going to call my go everywhere bag. Okay, I'm going to do a lot of hiking back and forth and doing things and walking places and whatever else. My go everywhere bag is going to have things like my wallet, my cell phone, my truck keys, a first aid kit, but most importantly, I'm going to attach this guy to it, which is my Garmin InReach. I'm going to make sure that this is attached to this bag basically at all times. I'll unclip it only long enough to send a message or read a message, and then clip it back on there. And I'm going to be wearing this bag all the time. Okay, so that's my go everywhere bag. I've got my clothes laid out for tomorrow morning. I've got my harness for the sled. I'll talk more about that in a minute. I've got my CamelBak, which is empty right now because it's easier to conserve body heat without having to heat up the water in a CamelBak. So I'll keep it empty at night, and I'll keep the water in a thermos, vacuum sealed thermos, at night, so that it's easier to keep it warm. I'm not using my body heat. And I'll boil these whenever they start to get a little frosty, just to heat the back up. I've got breakfast and everything else all laid out, coffee, lantern. You know, I've got extra propane in case I want to run the buddy heat or anything, and I've got my bed and everything set up. So that's kind of like that's bare minimum for me setting up camp. Okay, well, I'll have to fix that later. Okay, so camp is set up, and I was like, all right, cool, that stuff is good to go. The next thing I wanted to do was, look at this guy, get the sled ready. Now last year at this time, there was at least 4 or 5 inches of snow on the ground, and we got a 1.5 to 2 foot of snow like the next day, you know. So I was like, hell yeah, sled time, like we're gonna have a blast. Well, no, I mean, if you look around, there's really not a lot of snow right now, so I'm trying to figure that out exactly. I may end up just dragging the sled across the grass, because if I avoid a lot of the rocks and stuff, it might not be too bad. I might just end up switching to a 65-liter pack and taking that. I don't know. I'm gonna think about it in the morning, but I'm set up for the sled if nothing else. This is a really cool ski pulk. I got tired of the last sled basically like bumping into me as I was walking last year. I was just dragging my ice fishing gear jet sled, and I was just pulling that you know, to get it done 2 years in a row out here. You know, I'm just doing what I can to get things done with what I got, and I'm slowly, you know, real RPG style, you know, upgrading my gear as I go. You know, as I level up and so forth, I can you know, I've unlocked the skill to use the ski pulk this year. So I'm going to use that. I've got the harness for that in the tent, which I was like, hey, I'm going to cover that in a minute. So the poles on this thing, are meant to keep, these hard poles here are meant to keep the sled from running into you on any of the downhills, which was the most frustrating part. If it wasn't the weight was probably the most frustrating part, but getting whacked in the calves for mile after mile was really annoying. So the next part that I have set up is basically everything else. Okay. I guess I didn't really, sorry, I'm so excited, I'm getting ahead of myself, and you have to forgive me. Everything that's in the sled right now is a bare minimum, like stake camp. It's just like the tent, sleeping bag, cot, sleeping pad, and some other items like that. It's just what I need to basically sleep out there, but there's no food. I don't have any clothes, like extra clothes or anything like that. So that's a whole thing. Now that's what I'm going to take in the second trip, because I don't have any snow to really pad underneath the sled, so I need to make it lighter. So the second trip, I'm going to have things like, I've got oatmeal here, and my clothes here, and some food here, and I've got, well, snowshoes. I wish I could use them right now. I've got a big Arctic oven stove. I've got 5 pounds of propane to run it, which would be really, really nice. I've got like my bathroom and like extra flashlight, that sort of stuff. Okay, so now that gear stuff is covered, I'll cover a little bit more, and then I'll talk about what I've got planned over the next couple of days. So here is like, I know it looks like just like a pile of crap, but this is just all extra gear. Okay. Extra food, extra. Anything from like the strap on my rifle that gets broken, or I need an extra hatchet or an extra knife or something like that. There's some extra thermals and so forth there. So that's all set up. I don't want to have an issue where I run out of clothes or food or something like that. I have a water filter that I'm going to run, and I've got like the extra water filter is in there, I've got everything I think set up, and the plan here is spend some time here at camp, relax. I might kind of drive around for a minute and just see around. I heard somebody shooting, and I saw a truck over here, so I might go look for them, see what they're doing, see what they're up to. I think they left their dog in their truck. I'm not sure. It's not gonna overheat. But I don't know where he is either. So sorry, I'm really excited. I'm trying to wrap all this up in under 15 minutes. The plan is I'm going to sleep here tonight at my base camp next to the truck, and in the wee hours of the morning I'm going to get up. Everything is already set up and ready to go. I'll be able to make my food, and then I'm going to take the sled up the hill with what it's got in it, go out until I'm 5 miles away from the highway, and then I'm going to set up my tent and that stuff there. Then I'm going to come back, then I'm going to assess how I'm doing. If I still got energy, I'm going to pack the sled again, and I'm going to take it back up a second time, and I'll be set, and I'm going to stay there for a whole week potentially. I'll have everything set up that I can be out there for a week, plus like 10% or something like that, as far as like food, water, clothes, that sort of stuff, supplies. I might just take that tent up, set it up, and then turn around and come back, be exhausted, and sleep here, and then take a second day just to take all the rest of my stuff out there so that I can stay out there and hunt. Snow is on the forecast, so I'm hoping that I get some snow tomorrow, the next day, that help me with the sled. Again, I can switch to that big heavy pack if I need to, and I might just be carrying all my stuff on my back instead of dragging on the sled, which is actually why I waited until October, because I wanted more snow to be able to drag a sled. So I've got a lot of obstacles. I've had some, roadblocks and so forth. I'm really going to need your guys' help and your luck, so please wish me luck that I can pull all this off, and I don't know, maybe get some animals.